Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of the Down a Rabbit Hole podcast with your host, me, Suarez. Today's episode is very much inspired by your friend and mine, Jessie Lee Ward, also known as #I'mBossLee. Today, we will be diving down the rabbit hole of Dr. Linda Hazzard, also known as the Starvation Doctor. Sensitive topics will be discussed in today's episode, such as cancer, medical misinformation, all of the scams, and so on. Viewer discretion is advised. Now, if you've been watching my YouTube channel and my anti-scam content for any amount of time, or if you are interested in that type of content at all, you are well aware of the enigma that is Jessie Lee Ward. I have covered her ad nauseum on my channel, as have other anti-scam and commentary creators as well. She has gotten herself in quite some hot water this year, and she has really been, from what it seems and in my opinion, allegedly pushing a lot of misinformation. That's nothing new for scammers. We get that. That's pretty normal for them, actually. But with Jessie Lee Ward, around mid-summer last year, it seems like she started to drastically lose weight. She was saying that she was seeing a biohacking doctor. A lot of rich people do this. I swear they do that. And then they start going on ayahuasca retreats, and it's just really all downhill from there. It's like you have so much money, you don't know what to do with it, so let's take all the injectables. Nothing wrong with some injectables here or there, babe. I love them. That's okay. But that's not the type of injectables we're talking about here. So Jessie Lee Ward was also promoting the Carnivore Diet, I believe it was, where she was literally just eating fruit and meat, which, okay, whatever hits your body, do with it what you want. But, and we'll talk about this further in a moment, but when you have such a large audience, you have to take some type of responsibility. And you can say all day long, oh, well, I'm not promoting this. I'm not saying it's okay for you to do it. But really, no matter what you talk about on the internet, if you have such a large audience, unless you are prefacing everything you share with, this is what my doctor tells me to do, you go get your own blood work done, you go see your own doctor, do not listen to what I'm doing, do as I say, not as I do, prior to every single Instagram story or something like that, you realistically are promoting something to your audience with an audience that large. So it came out recently that Jessie Lee Ward has been diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. Now, I just recently put up a video, I believe, probably the same week this podcast episode goes out, maybe the week after, but I just posted yet another video talking about it and about all of the misinformation that she has been sharing. Not just misinformation, but medical misinformation. Now we're talking hyperbaric chambers, whatever it's called, the thing that looks like a ghost sauna from Halloween Town, to sunning your anus. Yes, sunning your anus. I wouldn't be surprised if she got on Instagram and was talking about drinking her own pee to try to cure her colon cancer. She has also been doing 4-ish coffee enemas a day. That's what she has alleged herself. And sitting in front of what I can only describe looks like a popcorn time machine. None of these things have been proven or have any type of studies to support, reputable studies, to support that they will help cure, treat, or do anything positive for stage 4 colon cancer. Now, I could be wrong. I am no cancer specialist here. Come on, who do you think I am? My family is riddled with cancer, absolutely, and I do have a predisposition, is that the word I'm looking for breast cancer. So maybe after we have one more kid, I'll be chopping everything off and scooping everything out, as I say, just to be extra safe. But I would like to think that I know a little bit about cancer. I know enough about it to understand that stage 4 means that it has spread to other areas of the body. And I do know that the survival rate of stage 4 colon cancer is less than 20%. I believe it's less than 17%. Again, I could be wrong. I'll put some resources, of course, in the show notes, in the description box, wherever you find this podcast, it will be linked under there, as we always do. Just because I don't list out my resources does not mean that I am not putting them somewhere that is available to you so that you can read up on things for yourself, which obviously is very important. I am just a lady with a bulldog and a camera and a microphone in this case, and a lot of opinions, but I want to make sure that I am not feeding into this medical misinformation as Jessie Lee Ward is, since I don't have a huge following like she does. I mean, come on, 100K, that's pretty great, but I don't have a giant following as she does. However, I want to make sure that I'm not just blatantly putting out this type of information. Now, Jessie Lee Ward, just to catch you up a little bit more, if you haven't been updated a whole lot on her current situation, let me say first, I wish nothing for the best for her. Of course, she's a scammer. She's a grifter, in my opinion. She's absolutely obnoxious and not a great human, again, in my opinion. However, I don't think she should expire. I don't want her to pass. I want her to live a beautiful, healthy, long life. I want that for anyone. I don't think that anyone deserves cancer. And if you think that that is karma, the only person that would deserve that would be Hitler or, Mussolini, someone at that type of stature, but surely not just an internet scammer. That's pretty crazy. So please don't wish that upon anyone. Please don't put that out into the universe. I feel like if you do that, that's just going to come back to you and be a lot worse for you, right? She's not out here murdering anybody. Unlike the topic of today's episode, which is Dr. Linda Hazzard, who we will get to in just a moment. Now, I am very surprised that Jessie Lee Ward has not started saying that she's going to be fasting and just eating bean sprouts, really she is saying a lot and doing a lot of the same things that Dr. Linda Hazzard, which I hate even calling her a doctor because she was not a doctor. That was more so a self-appointed title that she gave herself, but she has been doing a good amount of the same types of treatments that Dr. Linda Hazzard did onto her patients, and it's really upsetting, and that's really what sparked me wanting to kind of do like a little double episode here and compare the two of them together, which you will see how these two people do really correlate, or they have certain things in common here. So with Jessie Lee Ward, like I said in my most recent video about her, she has said multiple times, oh, I'm cured. I don't have cancer in my body. This is just a meat suit. Oncologists can say whatever they want, but I'm fine. I'm surviving. I don't have cancer. When in reality, she does. And unfortunately, yes, she is terminal. She is dying. It's absolutely heartbreaking and so sad. I know personally, I've cried about it multiple times. It's absolutely horrible. And again, I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. However, it is unfortunately fascinating, as she is a public figure and she is, from what it seems like, allegedly absolutely refusing any type of actual medical intervention. And yes, non-Western holistic medicine and approaches and alternative medicine can help sometimes. Sure, absolutely. However, in this case, I doubt that her sticking a bunch of coffee up her anus and getting her butthole sunburn, I doubt that's going to help or really do anything for her cancer. And it's just going to, in my opinion, prolong the inevitable, which is that she was given by doctors less than a year to 2 to live, which is absolutely devastating. And I cannot imagine what her family is going through. Allegedly, from the few that have reached out to me, they have said that she has cut them off and that she is in complete denial. And this really just goes into the delusion aspect of multi-level marketing and network marketing, and how that type of mindset is very easily bred and nurtured in that type of industry. Now, I did do a YouTube video about Dr. Linda Hazzard, so if you would like to go listen to that, go for it. I really see that as like baby Chelsea, and it was possibly not as eloquent as maybe this will be, since this is podcast form instead of video form. And I was a little bit distracted and a little bit more goofy back then, which who doesn't love being a silly goose? However, let's go ahead and get into Dr. Linda Hazzard, because that is all I can think about whenever I see the ridiculous claims that Jessie Lee Ward is making and all of the medical misinformation. that she is putting out into the world. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Dr. Linda Hazzard, also known as the Starvation Doctor, and her impact on medical misinformation. Dr. Linda Hazzard was a scam artist, a con woman, a swindler, if you will, who gave herself the title doctor, although she had no medical degree. And her practice, I'm doing air quotes here, was active in the early 20th century. She promoted fasting as a cure for various ailments. And when I say various ailments, I mean everything that you could have brought to her. Despite the controversy surrounding her methods, she authored a couple books that were wildly popular, founded multiple institutions, and attracted quite the cult following, including two wealthy individuals who we will discuss, known as the Williamson sisters. Linda was born in 1867 in Carver County, Minnesota. Her family background and early education are limited, but it is at least known that she eventually married a man named Samuel Hazzard and had 2 children. However, she abandoned them because she decided that she was going to go be a doctor, because that's just something that you can go do. As I said, she had no medical degree, but she was licensed to practice medicine in the state of Washington through a loophole that grandfathered in some practitioners of alternative medicine without degrees. So again, she had no medical degree at all. She was, however, influenced by the works of Dr. Edward Hooker Dewey and Henry S. Tanner, both of whom were very big proponents of therapeutic fasting. In 1908, Dr. Hazzard published her first book, Fasting for the Cure of Disease, which advocated fasting as a means of healing various ailments. It was followed by Scientific Fasting, the Ancient and Modern Key to Health, in 1927. Dr. Hazzard founded the Wilderness Heights Sanitarium in Washington in 1911, where she practiced her fasting therapy. She also established the School of Health to teach her methods to others. Because it's not good enough to just scam people and attempt murder. You got to teach other people how to do it too. Linda's fasting therapy involved prolonged periods of fasting, often accompanied by enemas that she would whip up herself, and vigorous massages. And when I say massages, I mean beatings, basically. And this led to the severe malnutrition and even death of many of her patients. Medical professionals criticized her for her methods as unscientific and dangerous. Dr. Hazzard also took advantage of her patients financially, acquiring their money and possessions to fund her businesses. She faced multiple legal battles, including charges of manslaughter, but continued to practice her methods. And the way she would do this is that she would coax people to come in, basically people being desperate. I mean, as we know, these types of cure-alls, all these promises, I mean, it seems too good to be true, but when you are truly desperate and don't want to die or want to be cured and you're at the end of your rope, unfortunately, you're desperate and you'll believe anything many times. So she's taking advantage of people, manipulating people, and it would get to the point where people were so starved, sleep deprived, delirious, basically on death's door, just knocking away. And she would have them sign over not only the power of attorney, but everything over to them. And it really reminds me of that movie, I Care a Lot, which is a very good movie. If you haven't watched that, definitely do. But that is a great example of a scheme or a scam that you're taking advantage of elderly people and taking their money to continue to fund the scheme or scam. And that is elderly abuse, and that's awful. So, don't do that. Now, at Wilderness Heights, the fasts that she would have her patients do lasted for days, weeks, and even months, which is absolutely wild to even think of. And it would consist of small amounts of tomato juice, asparagus juice, and occasionally orange juice. While some patients survived and publicly endorsed her methods, which is awful, dozens died. She claimed that the deceased had succumbed to undisclosed and undiagnosed illnesses such as cancer or liver disease, all while everyone else was saying that it was starvation. And even locals in the area surrounding Wilderness Heights referred to it as Starvation Heights, saying that they would see residents walking around looking like absolute skeletons. Now let's get to Dorothea and Claire Williamson. They were very wealthy British sisters, and they're probably the most well-known of Dr. Hazzard's patients. So Linda had put out a advertisement in the newspaper or a magazine, something like that, and it was promoting this Wilderness Heights, this amazing retreat where you can basically have anything cured. And it is said, or has been said rather, that Dorothea and Claire were kind of hypochondriacs. I don't know. I did not know them, but I think that is an interesting aspect of this. You know, how far will people go to try to cure something that maybe doesn't even need to be cured? So they were attracted by her fasting treatments, and they traveled to the United States in 1910 to undergo the therapy at Wilderness Heights Sanitarium. The thing is, though, is that Wilderness Heights wasn't finished yet. So Linda was advertising something and accepting money for something that wasn't even there, which is very interesting. So Dorothea and Claire were in a hotel, and Linda would come and treat them there. She would do enemas on them, have them in very hot baths, very steamy, very hot baths for a long, long time. And the enemas would sometimes last upwards of 5 hours, which is wild. I mean, if you're doing that multiple times a week, that's like almost a full-time job of whatever liquid going into your anus. As expected, Claire and Dorothea's health absolutely deteriorated, and Dr. Hazzard exploited their wealth and gained control of their assets and their finances. And unfortunately, Claire died, and Dorothea barely survived. So what happened was Claire and Dorothea had a family friend that they were very, very close to, and they would write letters to while they were really throughout their entire lives, but while they were at Wilderness Heights as well. That family friend got concerned, and really just from the contents of the letters that were being sent to them as well, or to her, to the family friend. So she decided to make the trek all the way, basically across the world, to Washington to try to get them out of there. Now, when she got there, the family friend, Dr. Hazzard refused to let them see her. The thing is, though, is that the family friend noticed that Dr. Hazzard was wearing one of the sisters' clothing, which is obviously very suspicious. Dr. Hazzard would do this frequently. After someone died, she would take all of their things and wear their jewelry, wear their clothes, spend their money, obviously, and just keep the scheme going. Unfortunately, Claire, like I said, did pass away, but Dorothea was found on the property in a tiny shed, and she barely survived. She looked like a skeleton, and if that family friend would not have shown up, she wouldn't have survived at all. And Dorothea was too weak to leave on her own, and she only weighed 60 pounds at the time that she left. However, she was able to testify against Linda Hazzard. Now, the thing that's wild is that Dr. Linda Hazzard, after manslaughter, after killing someone and being found guilty, how long do you think that she was sentenced to serve? I'll tell you right now, you're wrong. It was only 2 to 20 years in prison. And guess how many years she served? Only 2. Isn't that ridiculous? That is crazy. And then a year after that, the governor of Washington, Ernest Lister, this absolute buffoon, gave her a full pardon, which is crazy. But Linda wasn't done yet. She decided to take her family and move to New Zealand, where she continued to practice as a dietitian and an osteopath until 1920. So she was still going at it. The thing is, though, is that she was still using the title doctor, and she wasn't allowed to do that over in New Zealand under the Medical Practitioners Act for practicing medicine, when she was absolutely not registered to do so, practicing medicine without a license. And she was found guilty and fined about $500. And that's it. Well, $500 in like today's money. 3 years later, and I know you're probably thinking, okay, she's probably done now. She's probably going to retire and just disappear. No. This woman does not do that. She does not know how to do that. She went back to Washington State in the US and opened up a new sanitarium. She said, you know what? I'm going to stick to my old ways. I'm going to stick to what I know how to do best, and that's starving people and scamming them. So she opened up a new sanitarium known as the School of Health. And she had to do that because her medical license had been revoked, which she shouldn't have had one to begin with. And she continued to do supervised fasts until the sanitarium was burned to the ground in 1935. So let's just give a little round of applause for whoever burnt that place to the ground. And thankfully, she never rebuilt. But plot twist, Dr. Hazzard was such a staunch believer in her own fasting methods. She practiced extreme fasting herself. Her health deteriorated over time, clearly, because that's what happens when you don't eat for that long. And in 1938, she became ill while undertaking a prolonged fast. And eventually, she succumbed to her weakened state at the age of 70 years old. So she starved herself to death. And I find that truly fascinating because a lot of these scammers, a lot of these doctors, a lot of these cult leaders, these gurus don't actually believe their own BS. But clearly Linda did. She believed that, in my opinion, fasting would have cured her of whatever she was dealing with. And then she took it too far. And then she ended up killing herself by starving herself. It is truly, truly wild. I really do think that Dr. Linda Hazzard is so fascinating, as you can tell. And I really do think that the tragic story of the Williamson sisters highlights the potential consequences of medical misinformation and serves as a cautionary tale for future generations. It's pretty easy to see the correlation here and why I was connecting the dots and, being so reminded of Linda Hazzard when seeing all of the medical misinformation that Jessie Lee Ward was putting out there, or is still and continues to put out there, regarding the treatments that she has been partaking in attempts to cure her stage 4 colon cancer. And of course, I wish, again, nothing but the best for her. I don't think that she deserves this, and I wouldn't wish this upon anyone or anyone's family. But I do think that the overall medical misinformation topic is something that we really do need to talk about. And I actually do have a lot of people who will comment on certain videos I make regarding fasting to either use it as a cure or to lose weight. And people will say things like, oh, well, it works for weight loss. Well, okay, you know what else works? Binging Adderall. And doing cocaine works too. Starving yourself, sure, it works. Bulimia can work, yes. An eating disorder can work, of course. But just because something works does not mean that it's safe, does not mean that it's healthy, does not mean that it's not a scam. So please keep that in mind. Please go see your doctor. If you don't like your doctor, find a new one that's in a network with your insurance, or get a referral from a friend, a trustworthy friend, not an insane friend who's going to tell you to put coffee up your anus. And hey, maybe if you just want to put coffee up your butthole for fun, that's fine, but it's not going to cure anything or treat anything. And that brings us to the end of this podcast episode. I am really trying to make these longer, y'all, so I am sorry that sometimes they are not as long. Of course, it's just me here and Wiggum snoring in the background, not doing his production assistant duties. Or is he? Who knows? But I really do want to, make these more conversational, try to make these a little bit longer for you. But realistically, I like being able to just give you the black and white facts, my opinion here and there, and just leaving it with that. Maybe this is good for a commute for you on your way to work, just a little 25 to 30 minute little zinger for you. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. Thank you so much to my channel members on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, CC Suarez. Thank you for your support. I wouldn't be able to do this podcast without you. I appreciate you. If you would like these podcast episodes a week early, then please do become a channel member. And that is how you can do that. Also, I, as always, will have a carousel post on the Instagram page, the podcast Instagram page, that shows pictures, references, all that for each episode. I forgot to mention that last episode. So go ahead, and if you're a more visual person, head over there, look at that, share your thoughts, your theories, and maybe even some suggestions if you'd like in the comment section on YouTube or in the comment section on the Instagram as well. So keep those boundaries up, look out for red flags, stay spicy, stay assertive, and I will see you in my next episode. Goodbye.